Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let us be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 43rd Annual General Meeting of our company. In compliance with the Articles of Association of the company, I have been informed that the registrars have confirmed that the required quorum has been met for this meeting. Accordingly, this meeting is duly convened and properly constituted and is hereby declared open. I confirm that the Register of Directors' Holdings is available for inspection by members and others attending in compliance with the requirements of Section 301, Section 8 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. The register can be inspected at the registrar's table. I will now take this opportunity to introduce to you the directors, our company secretary, and other officials present with us today. To my immediate right is the Managing Director, Dr. Graham Heffer. Next to him is Francois Fabry, who is the alternate director to Mr. Hubert Fabry. Next to Francois is Regis Helsmotel, who is CEO of our managing agents. And next to Regis is Julian. Julian. And then to my immediate left is Ebuka Emerele, who is representing PCOB & Co., our company secretary. Next to Ebuka is Mr. Peter Egwasa. And then there's Arnaud Annex, who is our Chief Financial Officer. Next to him is Philippe Fabry. Next to Philippe is Mrs. Vivian Shobo. And next to her is Mr. Aswe Igodalo. I would also like to recognize the following persons: the representative of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Mrs. Husseini. Thank you. Representative of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Mrs. Lillian Dako. The representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mrs. Obadi. The Audit Committee shareholders representatives, Mr. Moses Ibrude and Reverend Andrew Imadu. Our registrars, Cardinal Stone, represented by Mr. Raymond Akokota, and our auditors, Ernst & Young, represented by Mrs. Maureen Ogodo and Mr. Bright Onye Bolise. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to do two things before we commence the business of the day. Most of you will know that Reverend, who was a member of our audit committee for very many years, passed away during the year. I'd like us to do a minute's silence for Reverend Ohehe, please. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. I will now ask Mr. Matthew Akinlade to please give us a short prayer to commence the business of the day. please. Can somebody who has the microphones? There, thank you. One's coming.
Let us pray. Can we stand up, please? In the name of Jesus, O Lord, our great and wonderful God, we thank you for your loving kindness. We thank you for your grace over our company, Okomu Oil. We thank you for your grace over its directors. We thank you for the grace we have over our shareholders that are present here, that we are able to meet here again today. Accept our thanks in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Oh Lord, we commit the proceedings of today into thy hand. Oh Lord, take control in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Speak through our chairman and other contributors today. Things that will lead to continuous progress of our company. Oh Lord, this is what we crave for. Let it be in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, let us have a successful meeting and let us return to our various destinations peacefully in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I ask. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Akinlade. I will now call on the company secretary to read the notice convening the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, give your indulgence to exclude reading the notes contained in the notice of meeting. Thank you. Notice is hereby given that the 43rd Annual General Meeting of the Okomu Oil Palm Company PLC, Marriott. I'll take it again. Notice of Annual General Meeting. On page 2 of the annual report. Notice is hereby given that the 43rd Annual General Meeting of the Okomu Oil Palm Company PLC will be held at Lagos Marriott Hotel, 122 Joel Ogunaike Street, Ikeja, GRA, Lagos State, on Thursday, 25th of May, 2023, at 11 o'clock a.m. to transact the following. Ordinary business 1, to lay before the members of the company the audited financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st December 2022, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon. 2, to declare a dividend. 3, to re-elect directors. Pursuant to Section 282 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the company received special notices that Mr. Hubert Fabry, who is 71 years old, be re-elected as a director of the company. And 2, that Mr. Peter Egwasa, who is 72 years old, be re-elected as a director of the company. The 4th ordinary business that will be taken during this meeting is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Number 5 is to elect members of the audit committee. And number 6, to disclose remuneration of managers. For the special business, will be taken to fix the remuneration of the directors. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. My statement is on pages 11, 12, and 13 of the annual report. With your kind approval, we can take the statement as read. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 items on the agenda for today's meeting. I'll proceed to item 1 on the agenda, which is to lay before the meeting the financial report for the year ended 31st December 2022, together with the auditor's report on the same. I will now call on the representative of Ernst & Young, our external auditors, to read their report, which is on pages 30 to 32 of the accounts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if I can please crave your indulgence. I understand that the auditors have been caught up, that they will join us within a few minutes. If I could just crave your indulgence for us to take the audit committee report, then the auditors will immediately join us immediately thereafter. I've just been informed now that they've been a bit delayed. So I apologize. Thank you. So in accordance with the provisions of Section 404(7) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, the Audit Committee duly carried out their duties as required on the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2022. I now ask the Chairman of the Audit Committee, Mrs. Vivian Shobo, to read the Audit Committee report, which is on page 27 of the annual report and accounts.
Good morning, shareholders. In compliance within the provisions of sections 447 of the Companies and Allied Matters Decree 2020, we, the members of the Audit Committee of the Okomu Oil Palm Company PLC, have carried out our functions under the Act, confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the company, as contained in the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022, are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practice. We confirm that the external auditors, Mrs. Ernst & Young, have issued an unqualified report on the company's financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st December 2022 are adequate, and we confirm that the responses by the management to the external auditor's findings on management matters were satisfactory. Signed, Vivian Shobo. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no, I'd like to introduce, hold on. What page is it on? I would like to recognize introduce the members of the Audit Committee. Please do not. Mrs. Vivian Shobo, myself, Chairman. Reverend Andrew Imadu. Mr. Moses Ruben. Mr. Regis Helsmo. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you please just give me a couple of minutes while I get confirmation that the auditors are here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I understand that the auditors first, let me apologize on their behalf. Totally unusual situation for you not to have your auditors here at the time that the meeting commences. But my understanding is that they are almost here. So if I just crave your indulgence. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while we are yes, thank you. Yes, yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I am Adebayo Adetunji Adeleke.
Yes.
I want to just crave your indulgence that this is a statutory meeting and we don't know where the auditors are caught up and we don't know for how long they will be caught up. I want to crave the indulgence of fellow shareholders that this job, having been done by the external auditors, certified and circulated to all members before now, that we have our representatives on the audit committee and that we waive the waiting for the external auditors and pass the baton to members of our audit committee who are actually representatives of minority shareholders to read the report of the external auditors on their behalf. And then they can continue by reading their own report as well. Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you.
No, no. Where's the guy? Yes. No, no, you.
Attention, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
In line with what the last speaker had just stated, there has been a precedence. I remember I was one of those participants that moved that resolution that time. It happened at Lafarge. The auditor too were caught up. And I moved that the chairman of the audit committee, who is validly elected to represent us, read the report of the auditor, and it was agreed. And I think I will suggest the same thing today, in line with the speaker. My name is Benga Idowu. So I think the chairman has something to go on with, to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. Adio A. Alex is the name. Mr. Chairman, if this meeting were to be conducted virtually and online, it will have been flagged and it will just be taken as read. I'm not saying taken as read, but I want to suggest that we just step it down, move ahead with other things. When they come because they have been paid for other services, let them come and do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to crave your indulgence to just step down that agenda item. My understanding is that the auditors, Ernst & Young, are almost here. If you don't mind, we'll continue with the business of the day. We'll come back to that agenda item. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the next item on the agenda is to re-elect directors. That's item 3. During the course of the year, one of our company's directors resigned, and that's Mr. Sven Claes. So he's not available for re-election. The directors offering themselves for re-election are Mr. Huber Fabry, who is 71 years old, and in compliance with sections 278 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, the company has received a special notice on his behalf regarding his age. Mr. Peter Egwasa, who is 72 years old, also in compliance with section 278 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, we received a special notice on his behalf regarding his age, and Mr. Aswe Igodalo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we can either move all 3 in one resolution or take them in separate resolutions as you... Thank you, Mrs. Bakare. Thank you. Mr. Ogundeji, thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hereby move yes.
Chairman.
No.
Nonawo is the name. We are not dealing with the same item because 2 of the directors in question are coming by special notification. So the best we can do is to take those 2 as one and then take the man who is still a young man as standalone, but certainly not the 3 of them together. Thank you.
Okay, I was going to say that in all my very many years attending these meetings, this is the first time that Nona Awo refers to himself as Nona Awo, and this is my name. It's usually these are my names.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for your intervention. So in that light, I will take the 2 resolutions as he has suggested. I move that in accordance with the articles of our company, Messrs. Huber Fabry and Peter Egwasa, offering themselves for re-election, that resolution be taken as a single resolution. Can I have somebody rise to second that resolution? Mrs. Bakare, thank you very much. Now, those in favor of the resolution, please indicate by raising their admission cards in their hands. Thank you. Those against? I see 1 absent at the back. I've taken note. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I declare that that resolution is passed. Sorry. Yeah, she was at the back.
Opposed, then you have to take them one by one. Thank you.
Okay. So I hereby move that in accordance with the Articles of Association, Messrs. Hubert Fabry, offering himself for re-election, be elected. Can I have somebody? Ola B. Peters. Those in favor of that resolution? Those against? I still have one absent, but I declare that the resolution is carried. Thank you very much. In accordance with the Articles of our Association, Mr. Peter Iguasa, offering himself for re-election, I propose that we elect him. Can I have a shareholder, please, second? Lawal. Wahab Lawal Olatunji, thank you very much. Those in favor? Those against? Again, I have one person signifying. I declare that that resolution is carried. Again, I move that in accordance with the Articles of Association, that Mr. Aswe Godalo, offering himself for re-election, be elected. Can I have somebody please second? Thank you, Mr. Matthew Akinlade. Those in favor? Thank you. Those against? Okay, I declare that that resolution is carried unanimously. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just so that we make progress, I'd like to return to agenda item 2. I understand that while we've been waiting, Ernst & Young actually are online and can present their report. Again, I crave your indulgence that we take them now. So I'll go back to agenda item 2. Okay, so can we, agenda item 2, if we can have the auditors please present the auditor's report.
Good afternoon, sir. Ebuka, can you confirm if you can hear?
We can hear you, Madam Maureen.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Standing on all existing protocol, just to say that we are a bit sorry about this. There was some misunderstanding on the timing. So I'll go ahead to read through the opinion. Chairman, I seek your indulgence. Should I read the whole opinion or I should read the one that most matters?
Please go ahead and read your opinion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So it's on page 30. Independent auditors report to the members of the Okomu Oil Palm PLC. Report on the financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the financial statements of the Okomu Oil Palm PLC, the company, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31 December 2022, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the statement of changes in equity, the statement of cash flow for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the Okomu Oil Palm Company PLC as at 31 December 2022, and its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and in compliance with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6, 2011. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the company in accordance with International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independent Standards, IESBA Code, together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to our audit for the financial statements in Nigeria, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with those requirements and the IESBA Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have received is sufficient and appropriate to provide the basis for our opinion. Other information. The directors are responsible for other information. The other information comprises the report of the directors, statement of directors' responsibilities, certificate of compliance and other national disclosures, that's value-added statement and the 5-year financial statement as required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. The other information does not include the financial statement and our audit report thereon. Our opinion on the financial statement does not cover the other information, and we do not express an opinion or any form of assurance conclusion thereon. The key audit matters. 1. Timing of revenue recognition. The company revenue comprises majorly of sale of palm oil products and rubber. There's a risk of improper revenue recognition, especially with regards to cutoff at year-end dates, or that revenue may be misstated. As at 31 December 2022, the company's revenue increased from 37.3 billion in the prior year to 59.3 billion, representing about 59% increase year on year. We have considered this as a key audit matter as the increase in revenue is significant. How the matter was addressed in the audit. Our audit procedure on revenue recognition include: we perform walkthrough to understand the adequacy and the design of the revenue recognition process. We check the revenue recognition policy applied by the company to ensure its compliance with IFRS requirements. We performed analytical review procedure to understand the revenue trend over the year under review. We tested a sample of invoices, validating and vouching the invoices booked to the underlying sales order and acknowledged the delivery note. We performed cut-off testing procedure by selecting a sample of transactions during peak period sales to ensure revenue has been recognized in the appropriate accounting period. We traced payments from the customers to the bank statement to ascertain those actual sales were recorded. We then validated the appropriateness and completeness of the related disclosure in the notes to the financial statements.
Mrs. Ogodo, if you can just go to your actual conclusions of your opinion so that we can, without the details, so if you just go straight to the conclusions of your opinion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will just take the second key audit matters and then the other regulatory matters, and then we will be done. So the second key audit matter is the valuation of biological assets. And the company used a fair value method to determine the valuation of the biological assets. The valuation of the biological assets include complex and subjective judgments about the expected palm oil yield, crude palm oil, and palm kernel prices. As at 31 December 2022, biological assets produced growing on bearer plants were valued at 536.64 million, as against 289.22 million in the prior year. The expected palm oil yield, long-term crude palm oil price, has been identified as a source of estimation uncertainty. The significant accounting policy and critical judgments relating to the valuation are outlined in note 4.18. The fair value disclosure of biological assets are outlined in note 7.3 of the financial statement. On the other side, you see what we have done as the auditor. So I will just keep that and go to page 32 to read the report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the requirements of the 5th schedule of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we confirm that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, in our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the company insofar as appears from our examination of those books. And 3, the company's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of account, signed by Maureen Ogodo for Ernst & Young Chartered Accountants, 29 March 2023. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ogodo. Let me again very quickly recognize that Chief David Edebiri, our director, is actually online on Zoom. I apologize that I did not indicate that earlier, but he has been following the meeting from the beginning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now lay the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022 before you. Some of you may have comments and questions on the annual report and accounts. If so, there is a roving microphone that will go around. Please indicate, please speak, and indicate your name before putting questions or comments. And then I will just, where are the roving microphones? Sasonu Wosu. And then we'll. Who's? Yes. Yes. No, don't worry, we're going to take. Yes.
I have to start my contribution by thanking you for making this meeting an open meeting. Some of those that wanted to make their meetings virtual actually failed because the network in Nigeria is not stable. Therefore, it was not easy for them to have a smooth meeting. So thank you for this decision. Mr. Chair, I am very happy with the report before me, and I want to say that we would like to have your current picture on the annual report, because this has been the same for many years. And when you moved close to me, I saw that your beard has grown more than it was last year. I also would like to thank the representative of the technical partners here for having faith in us, and especially the MD, who has managed to curtail the invaders in the bush. So I would like to thank him for the effort. Mr. Chair, your report gives me additional hope that next year, since we are paying 21 naira this year, we probably will be paying 35 naira next year. Let me quickly give you the signals that you have given to us. Let us go to page 12. Under page 12, look at rubber, what you told us about rubber. And then under page 12, you said here, despite the ongoing instability, both within and outside the country, the commodity price of both our company products increased in 2022, which to a degree helped to offset huge inflationary increases being experienced in 2022. That on its own shows me very well that we are on the road to a higher return and a higher dividend. We are also always very pleased to hear about the report of Okomu. You know, that is why each time there is crisis in the bush, we pray that the crisis be abated so that business will go on very well. And we also like the interaction of the management with the locals there. So we are happy with the little money spent on them to get stability. And I pray we'll continue to enjoy the stability there. Mr. Chairman, yes, the turnover increased, yes, but I also want to thank you for the 28 persons you added to the workforce in the place. Under there, you said we had 1,360 workforce, and which has been increased to 1,388 in the course of the year under review. Thank you very much. I think that on its own will bring some kind of happiness to the community, that we are taking out some of the unemployed graduates and all this and that, and that will bring us some stability in the place. So I'm also happy to see Aswe, even though when he came in, I hope you are not having Apollo because you brought a dark glasses on when you came in. Yeah, you know, when you put on dark glasses with your black color, it speaks different of your person. So, thank you. So we welcome our chairman of Nigerian Breweries to this meeting. Our chairman and chairman and chairman and chairman of chairmen. Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, there is no need for me to overstretch myself by speaking, but this annual report speaks for itself. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me, and I thank the MD himself for all the effort he's put in to make sure that we still have investment in Okomu. God bless Okomu, God bless the directors and all of us. So next year, we hope to be happier than this year. May God grant us the life to see next year and enjoy the good things from the company. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
The chairman, board members, regulatory authorities here present, my esteemed colleagues, shareholders, good morning. My name is Matthew Akinlade, President of Noble Shareholders Solidarity Association, formerly Nigerian Shareholders Solidarity Association. First and foremost, I want to congratulate the board, management, and staff of our company for a very successful year. In spite of challenges in Nigeria economy, the last speaker have spoken about a lot of problem with the locals, attack here and there, and you were able to manage them by being close to the people in the area. I want to say congratulations. And that is actually reflected in your performance. That despite those challenges, you were able to grow revenue by 59%, and it's quite commendable. And beyond that, even the profit before tax went up by 46%, and profit after tax by 41%, which is great. I look at the chairman's statement from page 11 to 14. There are a number of things that he mentioned there, which shows that the board and the management are focused on key issues that can affect performance. One, the power issue. I want to congratulate you for tackling that by the commissioning of 55 megawatt turbine as alternative means of power generation, producing over 44% of power requirement. Please, let's give them a round of applause. This is a milestone achievement. I believe we will continue to witness more of that going forward. Now, when we look at, in the chairman's statement, he mentioned the final dividend paid, the interim dividend paid, compared with last year. Why the previous year total dividend paid was 8 naira. The dividend for this year, the final of 12 plus the interim of 9, we give 21 naira, which amount to 162% growth. My worry is this. When I look at the earning per share of the company for this year, it's 17 naira 2 kobo. And we are paying a total dividend of 21 kobo. I don't mind it. I need the money. I'm happy about it. But my worry is the sustainability of that dividend policy, if it's a policy. Because I look at the previous year, why earning per share was 12 naira 10 kobo. We paid 8 naira, which looked like 2/3 of your earning per share. And for me, it looked to be, it seems normal. I would like to be educated. What involved this big jump to paying more than the earning per share, going to the reserve to pay more? So we need to understand it. And is it sustainable? Can we say that will be the trend? Because people have expectations of that. Some of them say next year 35 naira, next year 40 naira. Where will that come from? So we need to speak to that. And I would also like to understand if the company has a dividend policy that is guiding what we do. The former speaker have praised the company for reducing employment by increasing number employed by about 28, which is commendable. But beyond that, I look at staff training. We have increased what we spend on staff training by 21% from 38 million to 46 million, which means we are giving the people the necessary scale by training them. I will say that we should continue on this trajectory. It's going to help us and make our people employable so that they will be able to earn their living decently. Thank you for that. I also read there about the expansion and development plan for 2023, which means even while we are looking at this year, we are looking far ahead of time and looking at what we can do to continue to grow the business. That's also commendable, and we should keep it up. There is, I look at some expenses, and if they are necessary for the continuous progress of the company, fine. But we need to speak to this and affirm that. On page 61, repair and maintenance increased from 902 million to 1.3 billion in the year under consideration. That's for 3% jump. And there is an item we call building lease, 2 billion. We don't have similar thing in the previous year. If we lease new building, what did we lease it for? And what value is it adding to our business? On the same page, director remuneration increased from 110 million to 173 million. Is it because we increased number of directors, or is just an increase in their remuneration? Page 34. We have trade and other receivables, which jumped up from 678 million to 1.4 billion. That's 106% increase. Why do we have this surge? And because I have fear that we may end up with impairment if it's not well managed. So we want to watch this carefully. The company is doing well. When we look at the balance sheet of the company, it's neat. But I just want us to watch one thing. I look at the current ratio. It's dropping. The previous year, it was 0.69. It's now 0.63. And a testimony to that is also the drop in cash and cash equivalent from 9.9 billion to 5.8 billion. So there's 42% drop in cash. So we need to watch it so that our company can continue on the right path. On page 18, the CSR of the company is commendable, from 284 million to 380 million. Please, let us continue to touch the life of the people in the community where we operate, and see how we continue to touch the life of others, especially the less privileged. I saw the list of directors. I just have a question to ask. Do we really have a policy on the tenure of directors? Once again, thank you very much. I wish our company continuous progress It will be well with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I write on the existing protocol. My name is Moses Ayodele Ogundeji. Looking at the board, we have gender imbalance. And I want you to please address that. Number two, I praise the effort of the board, the effort of the management, and the entire workforce for this good account. Though it's historical, but it's an evidence of, their effort in the previous year. And when you look at it, naturally when we look at the account, the last year performance default to, budget. So if this year's performance does not meet or exceed last year, then there is query. We ask why. Looking at the result at a glance, all the indices there are very delighting, they are very good. And I want to say that it's because you have good staff, loyal staff, that you have been able to achieve this. So it is important that once we realize that, we have to take care of our staff. They have done very well. Having said that, we look at, I would have loved to see the MD's report because he's in charge. Chairman or the board only meet about 4 times or 6 times in a year. It is the MD that sees to the day-to-day running of the company. So he has insight into what is happening there every day. So come probably for future, let's include the MD's report on our annual report. It's important. I can't find it here. Looking at the profile of the board, they are all intimidating, but date of appointment or joining the board, they are not there, they are missing. Please include this. And then the age of the directors. It is important we have this in our report. Then there should be a table in the corporate something report that we show the individual attendance of the director or committees members so that we'll be able to gauge their commitment. How many times? Okay, sorry. I looked for it, I couldn't find it. But okay, that table, thank you. Then how far have we been enjoying our whistleblowing? Is it effective? And then coming to the account, I want us to go to page 74. Because page 74. Page 74, that is the value added statement. I'm happy about the percentage given to dividend, which is about 29%, which is an improvement over that of last year. Last year was 20. This year is 29%, which is very okay. And dividend is the salaries of the investors, the shareholders. If you are increasing other expenses, and you are not increasing dividend, it's like partial. We are not happy about it. But I'm happy about this because the percentage of our dividend has increased from 20 to 29. I want you to keep it up. And the report, like I said, is historical. Then what is your first quarter result this year? Because this is as at 31st December 2022. You can just give us an update on that. Based on that, I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me and wish you well for next year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity given to me. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulatory authorities present, eminent shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Mrs. B.C. Bakari. I'm the National Coordinator of Pragmatic Shareholders Association. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to promise you one thing this morning, that I'm not going to repeat any shareholders in order to give my colleagues opportunity also to talk. And I'm saying this to please appeal to my colleagues. All these directors we are looking at, their time is very essential to them. If they plan to have 1 hour questions and one person continue to repeat, once our 1 hour is over, they will not call anybody for comment. So let us go straight to our questions and any questions that have not been asked before to give others opportunity. On that note, Mr. Chairman, on the result at a glance, I'm not going to repeat anybody, but I'm only going to talk about employee expenses. Mr. Chairman, I noticed that our employees' expenses has grew from 67% grew by 67% from 6.18 billion to 10.3 billion. This is very good. Please let us appreciate them for this. Because the employees we are talking about, they are the ones that bake the cake we want to share today. They should please take care of them. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I will go straight to page 2 of the annual report. I use the soft copy. I don't know where we are having it in the hard copy. Page 2, where we have the mini pack of Banga red palm oil. I just want to appreciate and commend our board, that this board we are looking at, they are listening board and they are proactive. We told them that we need small pack and they listen to us. We appreciate you for that. But I want to ask how far about the market of the mini pack? Page 25. Board meetings and other board committee meetings attendance. I give you 85% for this. I give the board 85. It's very good. But I believe there is still room for improvement on your attendance. We would like a situation whereby we see that all directors attend all their meetings. So next year, we want to see 100% attendance from our board. Page 35 and 34. That is our bearer plants. Our bearer plant declined by over 1 billion. I just want to ask that, what is the reason behind this? We would like to know. Bearer plants. Again, I noticed that our trade and other payables moved from 4.8 billion to 6.8 billion. This is on the high side, Mr. Chairman. Because looking at our trade and other receivables, our trade and other payables is just 1.4 billion, and our trade and other payables is 6.4 billion. I want this board to look at it also. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, page 61. I noticed that despite our rubber sales revenue reduced by 67.8 million, our rubber sales profit is on the tune of loss of 1.65 billion. Could you please explain the reason for this, for the huge loss of 1.65 billion in rubber sales? Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me, and I wish every one of us journey mercy back to our destination.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Adio A. Alex is the name. I lead Dynamic Shareholders Association. Mr. Chairman, I want to start by commending you, and majorly it's going to be more of commendation and a few questions. This payment of the dividend we are taking this year, 21, is the highest paid by Okomu. And I think this board deserves a round of applause. Please give them a round of applause. And I want to pray that this will not be the highest paid forever. How you are going to do it, I leave you to that. I want to look at page 10, which is the financial highlights. I married with 33 and 34. I will just run through it. I'm not going to take your time, Mr. Chairman. Many times I'm confused about the issue of staff. How you tabulate it, I've not seen the other one. But let me look at the table before me here on page 10, where you say number of employees. I can see that 2021 is 426, and we have 390. If I'm right, that is a reduction. And can I ask this few questions? Were they retired? Do they resign? Or you retrench them? So that is going to be my question on that. I go to page 33 and 34, and basically it's about expenses. We have done well. Everything you have done this year and over the year speaks for itself, but I want us to still manage our costs better. When you look at the raw materials and consumable, married with other expenses, finance costs, if you look at this, all these together, if we look deep down, we can still manage it further down. Because cost to income will definitely let us know that we can still do better. On page 13, future expansion, you have done well. CSR, my question is, please look to some other areas. I beg of you, Mr. Chairman. I have some areas in Ibadan where if you give us 2 million to sink borehole, I'll put a big signboard there and say Okomu, and everybody will know there's something called Okomu. Please look in other direction. If you give us the permission, we'll reach out to you. I go to the Banga Mini Park, Mr. Chairman. It's not on the table. I don't know what you can do so that we can have it on the table. And I'll be rounding up on receivables, on our receivables. Let's look at page 68, note 25. 68, note 25. I see there, when I saw the huge amount, I see that advance to suppliers. I don't know whether they are contractors or suppliers or we are buying from them. If we give them too much in advance and they're still going to make profit. Let me stop at that. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, other board members here present, the regulatory authorities here present, my fellow distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Adetutu Shiyambola. I'm the president of Highly Favored Shareholders. Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, I have some comments, observations, questions, and suggestions on our annual report and accounts. With your kind permission, I will quickly run through them. The first point I have here is on gender balancing. And it has been spoken about. I want to skip out. Please, allow me to talk. I'm skipping it because that is what I have here. Number two, on the results at a glance. I want to skip that, but my conclusion on that is that we have a growth in our turnover and in our profits in the year under review. I want to join others in giving kudos to the board and management. On number 3, let me skip that too, is on dividend. Number 4, shareholding. On page 16, shareholding. I observe that we have a major shareholder with the minority shareholder in the company. In the year under review, I would like to know who is representing the interest of the minority shareholder in our board. On page 16, directors' interest. I observe that only 3 directors have our shares attached to their names, directly or indirectly in the year under review. I want to know why. On page 18 and 76 to 79 on corporate social responsibilities, I want us to look at the area of social welfare. Because I observe that our CSR in the year under review centered on education, health, youth empowerment, and community development. But next time, we should extend to social welfare. Number 7, I want to skip that, is on attendance. Number 8, let me skip that too. Finally, on page 61, note 14, other expenses. Courier services. Courier services went up astronomically from 6.8 million naira to 54.2 million naira in the year under review. This is huge, Mr. Chairman. Why? I observe that we have used our annual report judiciously to advertise all our products in the year under review. This is commendable. Please keep it up. Mr. Chairman, I want to seize this opportunity to congratulate you on your appointment as the chairman of the Nestle Nigeria PLC, and to wish you. Allow me to talk now, please. And I want to wish you a fruitful tenure in office. I pray that your tenure in Nestle will turn things around for us for the better. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
The chairman of Okomu PLC, the other directors, representatives of regulatory authorities present, distinguished fellow shareholders, good morning. My name is Chief Timothy Adeshiyon, the former president of Nigerian Shareholder Solidarity Association. I appreciate the efforts of Okomu over the years. And at a stage, somebody told me that it is a crime for you as a shareholder if you don't have the shares of Okomu Oil PLC. Why? Because of the regular dividends which you pay us. I appreciate the efforts of the directors, and especially I will refer you to page 5 of this annual report, where you see the picture of Chief D.U. Edebiri, OON. As old as the chief is, I attended one training course with him. It lasted about 8 hours. We were all seated. And the funny thing is that Chief Edebiri did not for 1 minute sleep. Neither would he say he's going to the toilet. He's such a wonderful old man. Please give him a hand of applause. This morning, when I watched the lineup of the board, I didn't see him. I was worried until the chairman eventually announced that he is available on the online platform. I appreciate the selection of the board members of Okomu Oil and how they have been performing. And that is why I support what we have done this morning on page 2 about the re-election of directors that have been above the age of 70. The 2 directors, Mr. Peter Iguasa and Mr. Hubert Fabry, who are both above the age of 71. Being above the age of 71 does not stop your productivity. And what the law requires is that you should give a notice that you have attained that age and you are of sound health and you are ready to continue. The 2 people who fall under this category this morning, I'm happy they have been re-elected. And we are looking up to you again to continue the good work which you have been doing in Okomu Oil Palm Company PLC. May God continue to help all of us. Thank you. God bless you.
The chairman, very distinguished fellow shareholders, other board members. For the records, my names are Nona Au. Chairman, because this is a business meeting, I will not go the route of distinguishing to you the difference between when you use names and when you use name. I'll leave that for another day. Mr. Chairman, I took time to go through this report, and I find that on page 19 that our external assessor has been with us for 9 years. But one of the things I found in those 9 years is that they are not serving the other shareholders. Board assessment is not only for the board, it is largely for the shareholders to be able to have been told areas they think the board is not living up to expectation, and do a summary so we can continually ask the board, what have you done in these areas? So with due respect, this report that they have given us, like they also gave us last year, is of no value to me as a shareholder. It is just occupying of space. So let them know that going forward, this is not the way to write the report. Because if all of us who are minority shareholders now write to the company to want the detailed reports, you have problems on your hand. So please encourage them. They must tell us the summary of areas of inadequacy so we can also follow up with the company. The second major area that I want to talk about also has to do with another outsider, this time the auditors. I'm happy they mentioned that they mixed it up, and I'm also happy that they are still on. But for an auditor that is serving us for the second year and then not certain as to how to classify your revenue, because one of the things they said in their report is that the assessment of revenue is a key audit matter. And I'm wondering, then looking at the explanation that management has given, I wish they were here so that they can tell us much more. But much more annoying, with due respect, Mr. Chairman, anybody who takes this account and looks at the aspect that concerns the account is that this account is indicating lack of communication between the auditors and the company. And if you doubt it, you will find spelling errors even in the auditor's reports. And if they are in doubt, since they are off-site, is they should check the paragraph, the last line rather, before the valuation of biological assets. The word there is supposed to be financial. What you have is question mark before, and they allowed you to go with this. But for us to be paying the auditors higher, and then you make these mistakes, you begin to wonder, what are we paying for? Because service without value for me is also a challenge. So please, let's call our auditors' attention to the fact that they need to do far more. Even the letterhead that they use in sending the reports, the cover page, somebody will have noted that, oh, there were mistakes. This document, you are not certain where it will end. Mr. Chairman, I also want to say that if you also look at page 35, and I'm wondering what the finance director himself was doing at the time, because this report is also his own product. If you look at page 35, his name isn't complete, and yet his signature is there. And if you are in doubt, look at page 28 and 29, then you begin to understand the error. Like I said, this is a financial statement. It's a serious business. So some of these errors should not come at all. As if it's not sufficient. Okay, let me leave the other one. But I'm concerned, Mr. Chairman, since we have a relationship as indicated on page 73, we produce rubber and then we export that rubber to a related party. And yet we made a loss. So I'm wondering, what will have gone wrong? I will be interested because there's a related party relationship. Because certainly they will not sell that same rubber at a loss. So why should we earn a loss? Mr. Chairman, I'm happy somebody mentioned the issue of staff strength. If you look at page 10, it's indicating a drop in staff strength. You look at page 13, it's indicating an increase in staff strength. If you look at page 60, you even get more confused. But the aspect that I want some clarity around is what exactly are we capturing in staff strength? Because if I don't know the staff strength, I'm not also able to say this is how efficient we are in the terms of payment. So please, let us have one table and be consistent. Because, like I said, if you look at one of the pages, you have two classes of staff. One says those of them who work within Nigeria. The other one, are they working outside Nigeria? However, I also think that it's important that I mention that I noticed the improvement in new assets. And I also noticed the benefit that we got from the government grant, which is good. However, I still think that the financial cost that is standing at 1.1 billion is something that you also need to talk around. Because all the loans that we got, all of them literally below 10% on the surface, but nothing is indicating that we are also not servicing the loan, because even in the year under review, there is a repayment. But I'm interested, Mr. Chairman, as to what you have on page 69 and 70. If you look at that page, one of the things you'll find is that this loan was obtained. That is the one from Zenith Bank, the first one. He said the loan was obtained in October 2021. However, disbursement, or rather the interest payment started in March 2021. I can't understand it. You can't start paying interest when the loan has not been obtained. And I think that something probably will be wrong there. But much more of interest for me is the modification that has gone around the three major loans. And I don't think anything was mentioned as to what the new positions are. So I'll be interested in what aspect of modification did we take in as of September 2022. Mr. Chairman, going forward, talking about the future, I know that the answer you are likely to give to this issue is that, oh, NOTAB gave you approval. But on page 73, if we pay 3% of net sales for technical fee, we pay 3% profit before tax for management fee, I'm happy enough we didn't have to pay for internet service in the year under review. Certainly, all of them should not be standing at the level in which they are standing. I'll be much more at home if the technical fee is also on profit. So you also will understand how we feel when there is not enough money being made. Even when you have made money from this arrangement, you are going to even make far more. But the technical agreement fee and management agreement fee should be on the lower base. But Mr. Chairman, on page 61, that has to do with expenses, I was curious in finding that Isabel, that our major area of strength is solar energy. And I'm wondering, I haven't been to the factory, that solar is also a possibility in Okomu. So what is that we are doing as a way of also helping to drive down the cost of electricity in our operations? Yes, I do also know that we supply some of the surrounding villages, okay? But if we have her on the board, I think we should also take maximum advantage of our specialty in seeing how we can also further improve on power and power supply. The other area that are also of concern for me is the drop in cost of security. One of the things that the company has complained right from Imo River, apologies to my friend from Cross River, is that security is a challenge. And even in the year under review, you mentioned that we lost one of our security guards. So what informed the drop in cost of security? That will also be of interest for me. Let me close on the note of payment, dividend to be specific. I can't find anywhere in this account that is indicating what is outstanding in unclaimed dividend. Nothing in this whole account. And I'm wondering how come. But much more of note, Chairman, please, this is the last time that is talking about 2021 that you will not pay us an interim dividend. If you don't want your own, you can wait until end year. Because one of the things that a number of investors are also beginning to understand as part of your DNA is that you pay interim. So don't make it haphazard. Or 1 year you pay, another year you disappear. Okay? So you are going to make a commitment with other members of the board that you will continually pay us interim dividends. Please. And during that, that is important. If you also look at the share structure of the company, you understand that there are quite a number of small holders, unlike the big holders who are on the board, who also earn director's fee, who also earn sitting allowance. So let them also earn their own. Even if they earn it 2 times a year, I'm not sure it will kill the company. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Hello. Mr. Chairman, our respected board, regulators present, our very hardworking audit committee, eminent shareholders. Is it morning now or afternoon? I can't remember. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, my name is Otuba Mukhtar of Yoruba Land. I'm chairman of the Trusted Shareholder Association of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, you can see, I don't know what happened to our shareholders today. In spite of this beautiful result, I've not been hearing them, you know, in big ovation. What happened? Abi, are you hungry? And you see, that's why. Ordinarily, Mr. Chairman, this hall should have been in thunderous ovation because of this result. You can see that when you have a certified ISO 9001 RSPO meticulous managing director, chief executive officer, this is the result. In spite of all the difficulties that we have in the economy, the global economy, and then coming down to Nigeria, the difficulties multiplied in terms of the inflation, in terms of the, you know, competition in the market and lack of sales. But you see, the managing director and his team is able to deliver this result to us. I think, Mr. Chairman, shareholders, let us appreciate this beautiful performance. I don't have to, Mr. Chairman, repeat what what other people have said. But you can see, you know, our history is always part of us. Mr. Chairman, if you remember, 20 years ago, at the Transcorp Hilton, when banks used to give us 30 kobo, 10 kobo, 20 kobo, you gave us, the tradition is that you give us 100 kobos. Then, Sassoni Nwosu, may God continue to improve your health. He was not happy with 100 kobo. And he was requesting for more and more. Then when I stood up, when I spoke, I said, no, Sassoni Nwosu, let's continue to give this company the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure even the 100 kobo, the 3-digit kobos, are still far better than the 2-digit kobos the banks were giving us then. You remember, Mr. Chairman? And today you can see that through our ISO certified managing director, Dr. Graham Hippers, you can see that we have grown to 21 naira in dividend. 21 naira. I beg, appreciate it. You are not clapping. So, Mr. Chairman, this is very, very impressive and encouraging. Mr. Chairman, during the course of last year, I'm very happy that our 30 tons per hour mills were commissioned towards the end of last year. I think this shows how concerned the management team is, because any serious company will continue to expand and improve upon, you know, its products. Mr. Chairman, this is very, very encouraging. Mr. Chairman, you can see that, yes, just 1 or 2 points. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, you can see that our revenues, the group earnings grew by 59%. This is also very, very commendable. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy that we have gotten a new company secretary. It's almost 4 years now I have not been coming to the meeting because of the COVID protocols. But you can see that the guy, Ebuka, is very young and agile. And he looks, very committed. Because my interaction with him, I saw someone that is very promising. Mr. Chairman, I congratulate the company for appointing Ebuka as the company secretary. Mr. Chairman, Please, this our finance director, how do we pronounce the name? Because when I saw it, I was saying armored anthrax. Then I remember that anthrax is a virus. I quickly looked at it and said, is this anthrax? Please, how do you pronounce the name? Because anthrax is a virus. Abi, finance director, we commend your effort. Finally, Mr. Chairman, lastly, finally, Chairman, let me appreciate our beautiful audio committee, Moses Igude and the Reverend Imadu. Mr. Chairman, we appreciate them so much. You know, they are very gentle, hardworking, and very serious about their work job. That's why, Mr. Chairman, we are going to vote them again today because we are, we appreciate their performance. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Look, we've taken a lot of questions and comments. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think in the interest of time, please let me address a lot of the issues that have been raised. I think it's worthy that we address lots of comments and issues. First, let me thank our shareholders. One of the things I like about our company is the attention of our shareholders to detail. Whatever the profit or dividends we pay, they still put our feet to the fire. And that's how it should be. Management and the board are answerable to shareholders. Unfortunately, we don't get many opportunities to interact, so it appears that it's once a year, but through the audit committee members, and I can assure you that your representatives at audit committee are up to the task. Please give me a few minutes to address some of the issues. I think some general issues that were raised have to do with our security situation. Let me assure you that while the line item number may appear to be reduced, the insecurity around us has not reduced in the same manner. All that has happened is management is better able to cope through increased staffing, through the support that we have given the security agencies. I'm sure you remember that we've had several attacks on the plantation, and we continue to have a detachment of the military and the police actually embedded on the plantation. That continues to help. As I always say, our product may not be crude oil, but it's crude palm oil. Sometimes the people who come don't know the difference. So we are in an area where we continue to support. And some of our activities and the support we provide is not only for our plantation. And again comes to the CSR comment has come up a few times. Our CSR is essentially, you won't see us saying that we're going very far from our plantation. Because if not for our company, there's nothing else around us in terms of support for the villages and the communities and our stakeholders. So a lot of our CSR has to do with clinics, with roads, and with providing educational opportunity in the surrounding environment. I think that is what is important for a company of our sort, to make sure that the people around us feel the benefit and the weight of a company of this sort operating literally in the middle of nowhere. So I just wanted to put that on record. I think Mr. Akinlade Thank you very much for your comments around the staff training. On the building lease, all I will say is that what we just did this last year, typically we build our housing. This last year, we decided that we would do building leases, which were essentially an opportunity for people to build with an option for us to purchase. And that's that line item that you see. But again, as I say, it's our way of making sure that we house our people as close to us as is possible. So that's that increase that you see. I think you also raised the trade receivables. Let me assure you that that's something we pay attention to. And we keep an eye on it, and we make sure that those numbers will not increase significantly. Let me make the point that, and I think the issue was around the dividend policy. Look, and I think Nona made the comment also around, ladies and gentlemen, please, if we can have some quiet. I think it's important for us to be able to address the issues that our shareholders have raised. I think it's important to say that dividends and our dividend policy and our ability to pay interim dividends is one that is particularly important, given the hyper-inflationary society that we live in. So I take your comments on board. Maybe historically we're not like the banks and the big FMCG companies, but we have since taken on board the fact that we must pay interim dividends. We don't want to wait for 12 months before our shareholders start seeing the benefits of their investment. And so that is definitely something that you will continue to see. So I think that's particularly important. I think Mrs. Bakare raised the issue around the attendance at directors' meetings, around rubber sales revenue. One of the things that I think we need to also pay attention to is that with respect to rubber, if you've been paying attention to the fluctuation in international prices, as you know, while it's an export commodity, it's very dependent on world market prices. So it is not a product that just because we produce it, we determine the price at which it is sold. Actually, as you know, there is no market locally within the country for rubber. So very, very dependent on where market prices are. And the fact that it may be a related party that we sell it to does not guarantee that we are constantly making a significant return on that product. I think there was the issue around retirement and the numbers that you see. I think the reality about some of those numbers is because it's a bit dated, it's over a 12-month period, the picture that we give you at the end of the year may not necessarily reflect hiring, firing, retirements that take place during the year. The important thing is that our staff strength is significantly more than that, because as you can imagine, we also have contract staff who harvest during the year. So these numbers that you tend to see at the end of the year are permanent staff. It doesn't reflect sometimes the comings and goings that typically you would see. I think Nona has made some significant points around typos, inelegant drafting. Let me apologize on behalf of management, and I'm not going to apologize on behalf of the auditors because we are not happy with them also. But at least on behalf of management, with respect to some of the misalignment that you see, I can assure you that that won't happen again. We will make sure that we pay attention to those issues. I think there was the issue around sorry, just to quickly make a point about Chief Adesina's comments around the fact that Chief Edebiri is online. I would also say that as responsible corporate citizens, we are holding a physical AGM, but also to let you know that there are at least 500 shareholders who are online. This is our commitment to making sure that our shareholders get the full engagement that is expected of shareholders at meetings of this sort. I hear now on the NOTAP issues around the technical fees. What I would say, and I usually make this point just in reference to why there are very few successful oil palm companies in the country. Yes, the palm oil seed was taken from here to Indonesia and Malaysia, but you know that we can only count the big plantations in this country on one hand. The reason for that is that it's an extremely difficult industry. It has been activated, promoted in some of the most difficult parts of our country. You need to motivate, encourage partners, shareholders, even people who pick up our produce will tell you how many checkpoints they pass through to get to us to pick up produce. So, you know, there is a price to be paid. I think that what we need to do is to continue to encourage investors. In that part of the country, as you know, only Presco and Okomu are producing in the numbers that we see. We will get to a time when there will be increased competition, but that competition doesn't exist today. And I think what we need to be able to do is to continue to encourage investors, both local and foreign, by the way, to stay connected with the industry. I also just wanted to make the point around power. Please, we also have solar power on the plantations. So it's not that we have avoided solar totally. A lot of our facilities around housing, around street lights are powered by solar. But the important thing is that we've reduced significantly our costs by the turbine that we put in place. And we brought that cost not just you know, within range, but significantly under what the government approved disco tariffs are. And that's commendable for our operations. Ladies and gentlemen, I have tried very hard to respond to as many of the issues that have been raised. Just my last comment. All of this wouldn't be possible without our ISO certified managing director and his staff. I think it's important to recognize that actually very difficult, and I don't know how many people have been to the plantation. Maybe we should organize a lot more of our shareholders to visit, but it is a really difficult operating environment. And so every time I see these numbers, I see the commitment of our team, the staff, in producing the numbers that we see. All I can say is that we should commend them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't hold their feet to fire, but we must commend the very fact that day after day, they are able to show these kind of numbers. They don't operate in Lagos or in Abuja or in Port Harcourt. They operate in a part of the country, I dare say, that sometimes when I go there, you may sometimes think that it's a war zone in the way that we protect our people so that they are not attacked on the plantation. And I can confirm to you that they have been attacked many times, but we also have the support of the Edo State government. I must commend the efforts of the governor. The governor has been very, very supportive of Okomu, and I commend his support. And also Chief Edebiri who represents the Edo State government, but also, as you know, is someone of Benin Kingdom, and we also have the protection of the palace in our operation. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, I would like to proceed on to the formal resolution in respect of the declaration of the final dividend. The board has recommended that a dividend payment of 12 naira per 50 kobo shares, subject to withholding tax, be declared in respect of the year ended December 31st, 2022, made payable on the 25th of May 2023. I hereby propose that a dividend of 12 naira per share amounting to 11,446,920,000 be and is hereby declared in respect of the year ended 31st December 2022, payable on Thursday 25th May 2023, after deduction of withholding tax at the appropriate rate to those shareholders whose names appear in the register of members at the close of business on Monday, 25th of April, 2023. Can I please have a shareholder that will rise and second this motion? I will take the gentleman over there. Mr. Success, what will I be? Where is this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Owolabi Peter is the name. I do support.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the resolution? Those against the resolution? Thank you very much. I declare that the resolution is carried unanimously. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will now proceed to item 4. In accordance with Section 401 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, Messrs. Ernst & Young, having indicated their willingness, will continue in office as external auditor of the company without any resolution. However, it's necessary that their remuneration be fixed by the company in general meeting in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. Accordingly, I propose that the directors be authorized to fix the remuneration of Messrs. Ernst & Young, who have indicated their willingness to continue in office as auditors of the company. Will a member please second this resolution? I'd like to take a woman, please.
Okele Adenike Elizabeth, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the resolution? Thank you. Those against? Thank you very much. I declare that that resolution is carried unanimously. Item 5 on the agenda relates to the election of members of the Audit Committee. Section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act provides that a maximum of 5 members of the Audit Committee, consisting of 2 directors and 3 representatives of the shareholders, are elected at an annual general meeting. The Act further provides that in the case of the election of shareholder representatives, nominations should be received not later than 21 days before the date of the meeting. The company secretary received 8 nominations. However, 5 of the 8 nominations withdrew their nominations, leaving us with only 3 valid nominations. The 3 valid nominations are Mr. Moses Igrude, Mr. Andrew Imadu, and Mr. Victor Ode. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since we have only 3 valid nominations in the persons of Mr. Moses Igrude, Andrew Imadu, and Mr. Victor Ode, there will be no need for an election. Thank you. The Board of Directors, to ensure compliance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 3 of CAMA, have appointed 2 of its members on the Audit Committee. They are Mrs. Vivian Shobo, Mr. Regis Helsmotel. Regis, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Moses Igrude, Mr. Andrew Imadu, Mr. Victor Ode, Mrs. Vivian Shobo, and Mr. Regis Helsmotel are hereby elected as members of the Audit Committee. Next item on the agenda is to disclose the remuneration of managers. Distinguished shareholders, page 17 of the annual report and accounts contains the remuneration of managers of the company. In compliance with Section 238 and Section 257 of CAMA. Ladies and gentlemen, item 7. The next item is the special business of approval of the remuneration of directors. Under Article 95 of the company's Articles of Association, the directors shall be entitled to such remuneration as from time to time as determined by the company in general meeting. I hereby propose that directors' emoluments in respect of fees amounting to 173,445,000 for the year ended 31st December 2022 be and are hereby approved. Can I please have a shareholder?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is Evangelist Dr. Anthony Amojola. I do support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amojola. Those in favor of the resolution? Those against? Okay, I have 1 vote against. I declare that the resolution is carried. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the meeting. Again, let me thank our shareholders for your patience, for your support, for consistently attending our meetings, asking us the right questions, and always making sure that the company continues to perform. I'm extremely happy and proud that everybody is here today. We thank you for your continued interest. We thank our regulators and other stakeholders for coming to our meeting. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the resolution to, sorry, quickly please.
I just want to mention that if the company is giving any gift to shareholder, to do it while they sit down, so that it won't be rowdy, it won't become chaos. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the 43rd Annual General Meeting of our company is declared closed. We will now take the national anthem and we will